Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 327 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin floated in the air and began to ponder. The key to his chance to survive was this jade form Liu Jinbiao. However, the jade had unexpectedly disappeared, and the heaven-defying bead had disappeared along with it. This change caught Wang Lin off guard. He was puzzled, and there was also a faint sense of uneasiness within him. The chance of survival has something to do with the jade, but now both the jade and heaven-defying bead have disappeared. How do I resolve this issue? Wang Lin frowned as he returned to the origin sect. Inside the origin sect, Lu Yanfei and others were waiting for Wang Lin. They immediately greeted Wang Lin when he arrived, but Wang Lin was pondering and only barely nodded. The jade Liu Jinbiao had sent out had become a normal jade and lacked the aura of a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. This jade was quite simple. Liu Jinbiao had simply taken the centipede's aura from the jade, so it had real Nirvana Shatterer aura and revealed no flaws. Now that all 8 centipedes were dead, the aura had disappeared and the jade had become an ordinary object. Lu Yanfei looked at Wang Lin and softly said, "Uncle Teacher, my origin sect has sorted everything and can leave at any time." Wang Lin silently pondered and looked at the origin sect. He still had some feelings for this place. This was where he had spent his first period of time in the Cloud Sea and where he got his identity in the Cloud Sea. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin slowly said, "You all go first, I still have some other matters to deal with. If there is a chance, I'll find you all at the rank 7 sect." There was a hint of gloominess in Lu Yanfei's eyes, but she understood that with Wang Lin's cultivation level, there was no way he would stay at the small origin sect. She just didn't expect he to leave this soon. Biting her lower lip, Lu Yanfei bowed respectfully at Wang Lin. She wanted to say something, but in the end didn't. Letting out a sigh in her heart, she took the people of the origin sect and left through the transfer array. Every single origin sect member respectfully bowed at Wang Lin before leaving. Looking at these origin sect disciples leave, Wang Lin took a deep breath. He sat down in the empty square as he looked up at the sky with a cold gaze. Every future I saw resulted in death. Even if I leave with the origin sect to the rank 7 region, it will be the same. Even if I escape now, it would still be the same. I, Wang Lin, have spent my entire life as a heaven-defying cultivator. Since there is no path, then I must struggle to make one. 3rd step cultivator. If I don't die to this calamity, one day, I'll make 3rd step cultivators bow before me. Wang Lin's eyes became even colder. He waved his right hand and his storage space appeared. 2 short swords came out. He had obtained them in the 7-colored realm. There was a seal on each of them, and he hadn't had the time to open them. Now that he was facing a crisis, he decided to open them by force to add to his strength. While Wang Lin was preparing for the life and death calamity, far away, in the rank 9 region, in the heaven-breaking step, Li Qianmai was trapped by a formation set by 3 elders. Li Qianmai looked at her teacher and softly said, "Teacher, you don't want Qianmai to leave. Can you give Qianmai a reason?" Li Qianmai's teacher, the heaven-breaking sect master, remained silent. It was as if he had lost all life and only left behind a body. Li Qianmai lowered her head and opened her mouth. "Teacher, Qianmai grew up by your side, and you caught me to cultivate. With the battle going on at the demon sect, Qianmai asks for nothing more than to go back to the battlefield." Li Qianmai's teacher pondered a bit and said with a hoarse voice, "Teacher has already sent a message to the demon sect. You will go back in 3 months, there's no need to rush." Li Qianmai's eyes narrowed as she looked at her teacher. Her mind trembled. She had tried to understand why her teacher was doing this, and he had even called out 3 elders. After all, with her cultivation level, there was no need to call 3 elders. These 3 elders were apparently playing the role of surveillance and witnesses. They were monitoring. Li Qianmai's face immediately became a bit pale. She originally thought that the 3 elders were not here to watch her, but her teacher. Originally, she thought her teacher was doing this because she had left the battlefield at the demon sect. However, seeing how her teacher had told her to return to the demon sect in 3 months, it seemed like this matter had nothing to do with the demon sect. What matter made teacher act like this? Li Qianmai felt shock. She wasn't worried about herself, but for some reason, Wang Lin's figure appeared in her heart. Teacher, what did Qianmai do for you to force me to stay here for 3 months? Li Qianmai raised her head. Her eyes were filled with determination as she looked at her teacher. Li Qianmai's teacher let out a sigh before looking at his most important and beloved disciple. There was kindness and complication in his eyes. After a long time, he slowly said, "You." Before he could finish speaking, one of the 3 elders clasped his hands and said, "I ask the sect master to think twice. I know what I'm doing." Li Qianmai's teacher, the heaven-breaking sect master, coldly looked at the elder that had spoken up. "Li Qianmai, do you know a person named Lu Zihao?" The heaven-breaking sect master's gaze landed on Li Qianmai. Li Qianmai's expression was neutral, but a huge wave was set off in her mind. "I know this person. Teacher once made me go to the rank 5 region to find senior brother Sima's jade and relic. On the way, Qianmai met this Lu Zihao." The sect master looked profoundly at Li Qianmai and slowly said, "That is the reason I'm keeping you here for 3 months. Li Qianmai silently pondered as a force gathered inside her weak body. She would leave the demon sect for Wang Lin. Now that she had heard her teacher's words, with her intelligence, she immediately felt a life-and-death crisis descend on Wang Lin. This danger was so great, not even her teacher could do anything but call her back. Although it looked like she was trapped here, it was actually for her own protection. While pondering, Li Qianmai's expression gradually calmed down, but a sense of determination and bitterness filled her body. She slowly stood up. Just as she stood up, the expressions of the 3 elders became cold. One of them shouted, "Li Qianmai, what are you doing?" "Teacher, Qianmai is an orphan, and you raised me. You gave me kindness, you taught me how to be an adult. Although I call you teacher, in Qianmai's heart, you're like a father." Li Qianmai's voice was calm but filled with sincere gratitude. She looked at her teacher as she slowly knelt down and kowtowed once. "Teacher, if Qianmai has another life, I'll die 10,000 times to repay it." Li Qianmai's teacher's mind trembled. He looked at Li Qianmai, and his gaze became even more complicated. He had raised Li Qianmai from a young age, so he understood her personality very well. "You taught me cultivate and helped me refine pills, allowing Qianmai to reach the Nirvana Shatara stage in just 1,000 years. Qianmai knows that you used a large amount of resources from the sect, even provoking some elders. They were not happy with you. Teacher, I can't forget this kindness. If there is another life, even if I become a cattle or a horse, I'll still repay you." Li Qianmai kowtowed a second time. She couldn't repay her teacher's kindness. Qianmai also knows that these elders always suspected that Qianmai was from a foreign clan due to the color of my hair. Because they suspected I'm not from the same clan, they were dissatisfied that you spent a large amount of the sect's pills on me. They were even unhappy that you taught me Dao. However, you didn't care about this, and you have been gentle with me like a father. You even helped me refine pills to consolidate my foundation at the expense of your own origin soul. How can Qianmai repay you?" Tears fell from the corners of her eyes. She rarely cried in her life. Even when she was ridiculed as a child, even when she felt like she was the only person in the world, she rarely shed tears. However, at this moment, she cried. While crying, Li Qianmai kowtowed a 3rd time toward her teacher. "Even if Qianmai dies, I won't forget all this kindness. But now, Qianmai has to leave." Li Qianmai raised her head and let tears flow down her cheeks. "Is he worth you going?" Li Qianmai's teacher looked at the girl he had raised. In his heart, he considered her his own daughter. She looked at the teacher that was like a father in her heart. There is someone else in his heart. That woman is engraved deeply within his heart, and no one can replace her. Disciple doesn't know what her feelings for him is, I don't know clearly. However, in 100 years of time, for some unknown reason, his shadow has always been here. As if in a previous life, I was a fish under the water and he was a bird in the sky. I don't know. Even Disciple understands that his heart will not accept another person, but this can't be measured by worth it or not. I only know that if I know everything and don't go, I'll never be happy. Li Qianmei's voice was calm, but tears seemed to rise up. Li Qianmei's teacher silently pondered, and after a long time, he slowly said, "The rank 8 sect competition was cancelled by the God sect." This sentence shook Li Qianmei's body. As a disciple of a rank 9 sect, she naturally knew that the only ones that could cancel the rank 8 sect competition was the God sect. Li Qianmei's teacher softly said, "The people of the God sect have been investigating Lu Zihao ever since he appeared. Do you still want to go?" The bitterness on Li Qianmei's face became even stronger, but her determination also became stronger. She looked at her teacher and nodded. "I want to go." An ordinary person can't make the God sect stop the rank 8 sect competition. This order was issued by the God sect's head elder, Daoist Water. "Can you do anything before Daoist Water? Can you stop him?" "Forget you, even if my entire heaven-breaking sect went, would it be any help?" Li Qianmei's teacher closed his eyes. Li Qianmei bit her lower lip until blood came out. The determination in her eyes didn't lessen but became even stronger. "Disciple can't stop him, but I still have to go. Teacher, let me leave, disciple must go. I knew your personality. That's why, after learning of this matter, I made you come back. There's no more need to talk about this. Cultivate here in peace for 3 months, and after 3 months, you can leave." Li Qianmei's teacher closed his eyes. He seemed to have made a decision. Li Qianmei's face revealed dense bitterness and seemed to have lost all color. A sharp pain came from her heart, so painful that it felt like it was going to drown her. Her body trembled and she subconsciously took a few steps back. She coughed out a mouthful of blood and her face immediately turned pale. Seeing Li Qianmei cough out blood, the determination in her teacher's eyes immediately collapsed and he revealed a complicated look. "Teacher, you can prevent disciple from leaving, but you can't stop me from dying." Li Qianmei lowered her head. Her voice was soft, but there was a hint of farewell within. "You." Li Qianmei's teacher's eyes shined and he quickly lifted his right hand. A mark formed. The mark went through the formation and landed on Li Qianmei's body. This caused the chaotic origin energy inside her body to immediately become suppressed. Li Qianmei's face revealed a miserable smile as she raised her head. There was still blood on the corner of her mouth as she softly said, "Teacher, you can stop Qianmei for now, you can stop Qianmei for 3 months, but can't you stop me for my entire life? He still hasn't answered my third question. If he really dies, Qianmei will go the world he went to. I will wait for him to answer my third question there. You once told me as a child that in one's life, sometimes one needs an obsession and the courage to chase that obsession. One also needs the courage to struggle, to chase. If cultivators don't have the obsession and courage, they can't cultivate any grand Tao." Li Qianmei's teacher's face was extremely gloomy and filled with pain. He knew his disciple's personality well, but he didn't think she would resist by trying to kill herself. He could indeed stop her for now, for 3 months, but he really couldn't stop her for her whole life. "Have you thought it through?" Li Qianmei's teacher silently pondered for a long time, and his voice gradually became cold. "Disciple has already thought it through. Please let me go." Li Qianmei looked bitterly at her teacher. "Once you step outside the formation, you will no longer be part of the heaven-breaking sect, nor will you be my disciple. From then on, you won't need to call me teacher, because once you step out you will have no teacher. Think about it yourself." Li Qianmei's teacher waved his sleeve and the formation around Li Qianmei collapsed. The formation scattered in all directions and Li Qianmei was freed. The expression of the heaven-breaking sect elders changed greatly, and one of them shouted, "Sect Master, what is your intent?" Scram! Li Qianmei's teacher suddenly looked up and let out a roar. The aura of having passed through the third heaven's blight erupted from his body. The 3 elders coughed out blood and were knocked back. "Li Qianmei, teacher is awaiting your choice." Li Qianmei's teacher's gaze fell on her. Although his voice was calm, she could hear a hint of trembling within it. Li Qianmei stared at her teacher, and the void in her heart became even bigger. It turned into extreme pain, making her heart even more torn. The heaven-breaking sect was her home. Her teacher as her father. However, right now she had to face a choice. The surroundings were completely silent as Li Qianmei revealed a miserable expression. She lowered her head and knelt down, kowtowing 6 times. Looking at Li Qianmei, her teacher's eyes revealed regret and pain. "You can go." Li Qianmei's teacher turned around and looked at the sky. His heart seemed to be torn. Li Qianmei quietly stared at her teacher for a very long time. Tears flowed down before she turned around and flew into the sky in a daze. "There's no more home. Was it worth it?" The confusion in Li Qianmei's eyes became even stronger. After Li Qianmei left, her teacher closed his eyes. The pain in his heart washed over his body. An elder that was knocked away roared, "Sect Master, once Li Qianmei offends Senior Daoist Water and angers the God Sect, my heaven-breaking sect won't be able to bear it. I must inform the God Sect of this matter. If the God Sect gets angry, you will have to pay the price." Li Qianmei's teacher suddenly turned around and roared at the howling elder, "Scram, scram, scram." His heaven's blight cultivation erupted, causing the elder to constantly cough out blood and fly back like a broken kite. With a bang, his body collapsed and his origin soul escaped in terror. The heaven-breaking sect has been a slave to the God Sect for tens of thousands of years. All of you have become like slaves. If you fear the God Sect, then once Li Qianmei provokes Senior Daoist Water's anger, I'll bear all the responsibility. Li Qianmei's teacher waved his sleeve and disappeared. His voice echoed like thunder and spread out across the heaven-breaking sect. However, his voice couldn't shake the heart of the heaven-breaking sect cultivators that had been enslaved by the God Sect for tens of thousands of years. Just like the fog in the cloud sea, how many people could see through the fog? Everything Li Qianmei had done, whether it was leaving the battlefield at the demon sect or cutting her ties with the heaven-defying sect, they were all things Wang Lin didn't know about. At this moment, Li Qianmei was like a woman without a home as she flew toward the rank 5 region in a daze. She was already a lonely woman who had been an orphan since her childhood. Due to her blue hair, she didn't have a happy childhood. It was due to her strength and serenity that she had come all this way. However, now that she lost her home, it was like falling into the abyss. The loneliness from her childhood filled her, making her more bleak and weak. It was as if she would be blown by the wind to some place no one could find, where she would silently await her death. At this moment, in the origin sect in the rank 5 region, there were 2 short swords floating before Wang Lin, one white and one black. The 2 rays of sword energy crossed and created thousands of shadows. These shadows formed a vortex and stirred up the world. As he continued to refine them and break the seals, the 2 mysterious short swords he got from the 7-colored realm were slowly displaying their true power. As time passed, more and more black and white sword shadows appeared around Wang Lin, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 300,000, 500,000, until 1 million. 1 million black and white sword shadows connected to form a sword that gave off a heaven-shaking sword hymn. The sword hymn shook the world. The swords seemed to form a dragon that wanted to break the sky. A dense killing intent appeared in this world. This killing intent was cold like the sword. Wang Lin's figure became a blur within the endless sword shadows. It was impossible to see him clearly, as he was surrounded by the endless sword shadows. I didn't think they'd be able to transform into 1 million sword shadows after forcibly opening 4 of the 9 seals. Wang Lin opened his eyes, and his eyes shined brightly. His gaze seemed to combine with the surrounding sword shadows and become part of them. The moment his eyes opened, all the sword shadows trembled as if they couldn't bear this pressure. It was as if a primal animal was about to charge gout. For seals already have such power. It seems I underestimated these 2 short swords. In this case, I'll forcibly open more with my cultivation. I want to let the person that wants to kill me know that I, Wang Lin, am not so easy to kill. Wang Lin's eyes became cold as his hands formed a seal and pointed at the 2 short swords. Those 2 swords, one black, one white, released an earth-shattering howl that was like the roar of the dragons. It was as if 2 dragons were roaring at the sky. The 2 swords suddenly moved and pointed toward Wang Lin as if they were going to rebel. Wang Lin let out a cold snort and the Star of Law appeared. As it rotated, the new law that was created appeared. Thunder echoed across the sky and countless balls of thunder appeared and gathered. Also, at this instant, blue fire appeared around the 2 swords. A battle intent erupted. Wang Lin waved his right hand as he roared, "Fifth seal, break for me." Popping sounds came from the two short swords. In an instant, large amounts of cracks appeared before the two short swords and unexpectedly exploded. What appeared before Wang Lin was still two swords, but now they could only be called daggers, as their appearance had shrunk a lot. The moment the two daggers appeared, the sword shadows around Wang Lin erupted. 1.5 million, 2 million, until there were 5 million. 5 million sword shadows covered the sky and spread across the continent of Moluo. Even in the space outside Moluo, one could feel the terrifying, destructive aura. What was even more shocking was that each of the 5 million sword shadows contained the power of thunder, fire, and battle intent. It was as if they would battle the world without the need to control them. 5 seals allows 5 million sword shadows. Good. Then I'll help you once more and refine you 2 daggers with the blood of an ancient god to break the rest of the seals in one go. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his hands formed a seal. His face immediately turned rosy. Ancient god blood was filled with vitality and could dispel all demons in the world. He forced out a mouthful of ancient good blood and spat it out. It turned into a blood mist that surrounded the 2 daggers. When he coughed out blood, an ancient god shadow appeared within the blood. The shadow split into 2 and entered the 2 daggers. At this instant, popping sounds came out from the dagger and they collapsed once more. They collapsed twice in a row. A thunderous rumble echoed as the number of sword shadows around Moluo increased like crazy. 5 million, 6 million, 7 million, 8 million, 9 million. In the end, there were exactly 9,999,999 sword shadows around Wang Lin. Just one more to collapse the world. Wang Lin sat there and began to ponder. 7 seals have been opened. Unfortunately, with my cultivation level, I can't break them in a short period of time. Otherwise, from the looks of these 2 daggers, once the 8th seal is broken, they would reach 10 million. Although it's only one more sword, the gap is great. No harm. Even though I can't open the 8th seal, I can still obtain the effect of the 8th seal. I'm an ancient god, and an ancient god's body is powerful. I will be the last sword. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he inhaled. The almost 10 million swords immediately howled and gathered toward him. It looked like he was inhaling the world. Countless sword shadows entered Wang Lin's body. As the countless sword shadows entered his body, a thunderous rumble came from within him. He gave off a powerful killing intent that could shake the mind of anyone who saw him. Ordinary cultivators couldn't handle so many sword shadows, but it was no problem for Wang Lin, who was an ancient god. When he inhaled them, even his body turned silver. Gather! Wang Lin roared, and the almost 10 million sword shadows inside his body condensed and eventually gathered inside his right index finger. These 2 short swords are strange. When the almost 10 million sword shadows condensed in his right index finger, the sky became clear. The 2 daggers had become 2 strands of black and white energy that also entered Wang Lin's finger. 2 illusory deer let out long hisses and circled Wang Lin's index finger. Eventually, they turned into 2 tattoos that imprinted on his finger. At this moment, Wang Lin's index finger could destroy the body of a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. Even an ordinary pseudo-Nirvana void treasure was no match. If one touched Wang Lin's index finger, it would immediately disintegrate. What was even more frightening was that this index finger also contained the laws of thunder, fire, and battle intent. It also contained Wang Lin's strength as an ancient god. This one finger could shock even a ghost god. Even a Heaven's Blight cultivator would have to dodge this finger. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he let out a breath that fell on his right index finger. The 2 tattoos were hidden and his index finger returned to normal. No one could see anything special about them. If I can catch that person off guard, then these 10 million sword shadows can definitely put him in a sorry state. Wang Lin looked up at the sky with a smile, but his eyes were gloomy. There are too many mortals on the continent of Moluo for the battle to occur here. It is the responsibility of us cultivators. Wang Lin silently got up and turned into a ray of light that quickly flew away from the continent of Moluo. His figure was a blur among the stars, and it didn't take long for him to find a wild continent. In a flash, Wang Lin charged at the wild continent. With a bang, His feet landed on this wild continent. His powerful divine sense spread out across the continent. Since I can't escape, I'll use this place as the battlefield. Wang Lin chose the highest peak in a mountain range and sat down. When I fused with the All-Seer's soul, I found out that there are still 7 more days until this life and death calamity. 7 days is more than enough time for me to prepare, Wang Lin muttered to himself as he raised his right hand and hit his forehead. 100 strands of milky white gas flew out of his head and turned into 100 balls of light. The world is ever changing. Gather 100 avatars, ancient clan ability. After Wang Lin spoke, the 100 balls of light moved and turned into 100 Wang Lins. These were all avatars and souls. This was an ancient god spell Wang Lin could use after his 6th star had slightly recovered. As his hand pushed forward, the 100 avatars scattered in all directions and rushed through the star fog. Wang Lin closed his eyes as if he was cultivating. Time gradually passed, and in the blink of an eye, 2 days went by. His 100 avatars all contained the power of an ancient god and were all very powerful. In these 2 days, with his understanding of the rank 5 region, his 100 avatars brought back 100 wild continent. These 100 wild continents were moved here like crazy and surrounded the wild continent Wang Lin was on. This scene was enough to shock all the cultivators in the rank 5 region. At this moment, the area where Wang Lin placed the 100 wild continent had already taken a large portion of the region. From far away, it looked like the home of a clan from the ancient star system. These wild continents surrounded Wang Lin to form a giant formation. This formation used these continents as the frame and reached a terrifying level of power. The 100 avatars all returned and Wang Lin opened his eyes. He waved his hand and the annihilation restriction flew out around him and slowly rotated. Staring at the restriction, Wang Lin revealed a sneer. His hands moved like wind and didn't stop. Restrictions continued to spread out, permeating through the wild continent. They continued to spread until they were on all the wild continents and then connected as one. Creating this many restrictions had consumed a large amount of origin energy, but Wang Lin was half a foot into the Nirvana Shatterer stage and therefore could absorb endless origin energy. He also had large amounts of origin crystals and didn't hesitate to take them out and absorb them. He also summoned the woman in silver and ordered her to use the life and death restriction. The woman in silver used it without hesitation, and with enough origin crystals, her life and death restriction also covered the continent and synchronized with Wang Lin's restrictions. If this was it, it won't revealed Wang Lin's method. After he left the 7-colored realm, he had begun studying the time restriction. Although he hadn't fully learned it, as the inheritor of the annihilation restriction and with his understanding of restrictions, he had grasped a bit. At this moment, he used it, and the time restriction started to appear. On the 5th day, the time restriction also filled all the continent. The power of time restriction depends on time. I have the flower time spell and can reverse time to help the time restriction reach a certain peak in a short period of time. The fusion of the 3 great restrictions has heaven-shaking power. Person who wants to kill me, even though you are a 3rd-step cultivator, you won't know all the things I have prepared for you. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. This video will end here.